Hello, everybody. Let's start our webinar today. Welcome to Study at Osaka University online fair. This is the second time this month that we are organizing this information fair for prospective international students. So today we will have general introduction on Osaka University, and then we'll talk about our undergraduate and graduate admissions and international programs. Then we will briefly talk about exchange opportunities and support and services for international students. And then at the end, we will answer your questions. But during the whole time, please feel free to send your questions to the Q&A box that you will find at the bottom of the screen. And you can also raise hands if you want to ask questions live later during the live Q&A session.
Okay. First, I would like to have an introduction on location of Osaka. I believe some of you have come to Osaka before as a traveler or something else. Osaka is located in western Japan. It neighbors Kyoto and Nara, and it is the third biggest metropolitan city in Japan, with a population of over 20 million. And there or something that maybe you don't know about Osaka. First, I want to introduce that Osaka has been ranked as the second most livable city in the world by the EIU in this year. And it's ranked to the second place for its stability, healthcare, culture, environment, education, and so on. And another fact in Osaka is it has one of the 6 universal theme parks in the world is in Osaka and established in 2001, so it's almost 20 years. And let's see another picture on the screen. I believe all of you knows about instant noodle, but maybe you don't know instant noodle is born in Osaka, Ikeda City, in 1958. So there is a very interesting cup noodles museum in Osaka, Ikeda City. And the last picture is we have monorail near Osaka campuses. And it links our 3 campuses of Osaka. It's very convenient.
So Osaka University is probably, as you know, is one of the oldest universities in Japan and one of the prestigious universities as well. And we were founded in 1931 as Osaka Imperial University with School of Medicine, School of Science. And however, our roots go back even further, about 300 years ago. And in 1949, we became Osaka University with the new system. And in 2015, we merged with Osaka University of Foreign Studies, and we became one of the only national university with comprehensive language programs in 25 languages. And here you can see when the new different schools and research centers started.
And here it's showing our campuses of Osaka University. We have 3 main campuses and another center in the downtown Osaka. Our 3 campuses are all connected by free shuttle bus. Of course, you can also use in public transportation. Both of them are convenient. And in the center, you can see there's a new Mino campus. Because we have old one, our new Mino campus has moved to a new location from this April. It's a very beautiful campus, and I want to show you about that. Here is our photos of Osaka new Mino campus. You can see it's very beautiful. It has a building for students, mostly on foreign studies student, and also a big library, and also very many spaces for students to chat, to study on yourself.
Right, so as one of Japan's leading national universities, we have different types of programs. We have been ranked at 72 in 2021 HUS ranking, world ranking, and here you can see the number of university hospitals, libraries, and research institutes and centers. Also, you can see the number of our student population. We have about 20,000 students, and out of them, about 8,000 are graduate students. And compared to other national universities, we have a quite good range of ratio of female students.
And we have, here is our schools. We have 11 undergraduate schools and 16 graduate schools. This includes social science, humanities, law, medical school, dental school, engineering, IT, nature sciences, and so on.
Right, so we would like to talk about the research areas. We'd like to invite Clement today, if you could talk about this.
Thank you very much. My name is Clement from the Center for Global Initiatives of Osaka University. So I would like to introduce the strategic research areas that our university has been working on and putting a lot of effort in. So as mentioned before, we are a comprehensive university, but these 4 research areas are the ones that we have been especially putting forward as our main areas of research. So the first one is immunology, and this is embodied in the 2 research centers, IFRAC and RIMD. Second one is integrated frontier research for medical science, and this is mainly working on translational and reverse translational medicine. Many labs are working on stem cells and their applications in the clinic. The third one is symbiotic intelligence system, as embodied by the CISRAC, the research center for this system. And this is working on AI, robotics, neuroscience, and human-robot interactions. The last one is on quantum information science and quantum biology. Next, please. Right, so the first one is, I'd like to give an example of IFRAC. So this is this is our main research center where a lot of world-leading scientists are leading the state-of-the-art research in immunology. We have people working on basic science in immunology, working on application side of immunology, trying to find drugs to cure cancer, tumor, and also all kinds of autoimmune diseases. You have people working on innate immunity, adaptive immunity, T cells. Sakaguchi Sensei is a very famous person in very famous researcher of T cells, especially regulatory T cells. Akira Sensei is the leading scientist in innate immunity and so on. Next, please. Right, so this one here is a division of our graduate school of medicine. So our school of medicine is a very famous or very it's a world-leading school of medicine that is working on high impact and high level research. And this is quite not so long ago was established. And this is led by Professor Koji Nishida. He's an ophthalmologist who's also working on stem cells. And he's the first researcher, first leader of a research team that is doing a world transplant of cornea made of IPS cells. So IPS cells is short for induced pluripotent stem cells. And this is basically a cell that is taken from a patient's own body that is reprogrammed to become a stem cell, and thus this can be used to create organs, and that which comes from the patient's him or herself, and this can actually reduce immune reactions. Second one is Professor Sawa. He's a very famous researcher working on heart cells, and he has also succeeded in working or studying the transplant of heart cells, made also from IPS cells. So these two are still in the clinical trial stage, but we are hoping that this can actually lead to new ways to help patients in regenerative medicines. Next, please. Right, the third one is on the symbiotic intelligence systems, and this is a research center that's led by Professor Hiroshi Ishiguro. He's a very famous scientist in soft robotics, so robotics that work on that focus on how robots can interact with humans or androids, basically. He's very famous for creating a copy of himself in the form of android that can mimic his facial expressions and the way he talks and the way he moves his body, basically. He has been featured in many documentaries, also TED Talks, and he's actually a very famous person. He's the second scientist, prominent scientist, who's also working on this in this center. He's the administrative director of the center, Professor Asada. He's also very famous for creating or making child-like robots. And he's also the head of the Japan Society of Robotics. Next, please. Right. The last but not least, this is the Quantum Information Science and Quantum Biology. So this is a center where researchers in quantum computing, quantum computing algorithm, and also applications of quantum computing in chemistry, biology, and physics are working together to solve problems using quantum algorithms. This is a center led by Professor Kitagawa. He's also a very famous scientist in this field, and it's also together with Professor Fuji, who's also a very famous scientist in quantum computing algorithm. And you can see here there are 6 research groups, not only working on the algorithms, but they're also try to solve real life problems using state-of-the-art quantum computing. Next, please. Okay, so Osaka University is quite well known to have a very close relationship with the industry. And there are several ways in which we can collaborate with the industry. This is one of the ways, and this is actually a comprehensive partnership. So in this scheme, the industry can work together with us to start to provide funding from basic research level. So not only using the existing results that we have or scientists in Osaka University have produced, but this starts from zero, basically. And this is exemplified by these 2 fields in immunology and in IT, in which 2 companies, Chugai and Otsuka, these are quite large Japanese pharmaceutical companies, have agreed to provide financial package quite a lot for basic research in immunology and also in IT. Right. So I think that's all from me.
And we have just now we had introduction on our campuses, and now we want to show you that beside our 3 campuses and 1 center, we also have overseas centers all over the world. Here we showed 4. One is in North America, and 1 is in Europe. And in Asia, it's located also in Thailand and Shanghai, China. These 4 overseas centers aim to facilitate and support international exchange programs, and also share with local students with our research news and also outcomes.
Right, so here is quick stats on our international exchange. So here you can see the number of international researchers coming to Osaka University, and at the left side, and then in the middle you can see the number of international students at Osaka University. We have a large number of countries represented on campus, but the majority of them are coming from Asia. However, we have students from all over the world. About, I think, 111 countries are represented. And once you are here, you can also study abroad as an exchange student to other countries that we have exchange agreements. We have about 600 universities that we have exchange agreements with.
Okay. Here you can see this is our program. If you can speak Japanese, that is, yeah, you can apply for almost all of the programs. Just we are showing it on the left side. And if you cannot speak Japanese, that you don't need to worry about that, because we also have programs in English, both in undergraduate programs and also graduate programs. Here we will talk about it later with some details on all the programs. And beside it, we also have no degree. non-degree programs, such called exchange programs. If you have, if your university have agreement with Osaka University, you can join in the exchange programs for free.
Right, so now we are moving on to undergraduate degree program admissions process. So to give you some bigger picture, an idea about admissions process, so you can come here as Japanese government sponsored student through the embassy selection process, or you can come here as privately funded international student. And for that, you have 4 pathways. One is to come here as privately funded international student. So it's you're applying from overseas. You take EGU exam, or you can also apply through a special entrance examination for international students living overseas. We will talk about this number 2 shortly afterwards. And then we have a degree program in English. We have only 1 program for undergraduate level, that is in human sciences. We have a faculty to describe about this program after a little later. And then we also have a hybrid program that you can take a program in English in the beginning and then move on to a Japanese taught courses. And we will also introduce this program later.
Okay, so let's invite Tak Professor to give an introduction of one of our programs.
Okay, thank you for the introduction. Hello, everyone. My name is Yeonsu Tak. I'm in charge of the global admissions of Osaka University. I'm going to introduce you about the special entrance examination for privately funded undergraduate international students living overseas. This is one of a unique program of Osaka University. Okay, could you show me the next slide? Next slide, please. Okay, what are the features of this program? Here are 4 benefits of these admissions. The first one, you can take an admission assessment or interview without visiting Japan. Generally, we conduct those tests and interviews in applicants' local areas. But in case of the last year's admissions, due to the COVID-19 outbreak, the admission and interview was conducted online via a web conferencing system. So we still have a possibility to have an online interview this year. But in any case, you don't need to come to Japan just to take an admission test. The second one is for accessible applicants. We provide a preparatory education at the Center for the Japanese Language and Culture of Osaka University. So you can see the CJLC at the bottom of the slide. The CJLC is located on our new Mino campus. This preparatory education is for 6 months before you will enter undergraduate school. So you will take intensive Japanese language lessons and other subjects, for example, mathematics, physics, or Japanese history at the pre-undergraduate levels. So this course is to help your undergraduate studies when you enter the undergraduate school of Osaka University. The third one, students who got an excellent score on the entrance examination will receive a scholarship from Osaka University when they enter their undergraduate school beginning on April 2023. The scholarship is 18,000 yen per month, and this scholarship is a stipend for 1 year. And the fourth thing, the last one, is we guarantee rooms for you in one of the university's dorm. So as you can see here at the right side of the slide, the Global Village Mino Senba we mentioned before is a brand new student dormitory. So if you enter Osaka University through these admissions, you will leave this dorm for 1 year. Okay, so next slide, please. Okay. Who is eligible for these admissions? This admission is for international students living outside Japan for more than 1 year when applying for this program. So please note, if you hold Japanese nationality, including dual citizens, and if you hold a permanent resident of Japan, so you are not eligible to this admission. And you can prove Japanese language proficiency, JLPT N1 or N2 or equivalent level at the time of application. And you have completed or you are expected to complete a 12-year primary and secondary education abroad by September 13, 2022. Or you have received an international baccalaureate outside of Japan. When we can see it in terms of the application requirement, an EJU score is not required, or any other score such as SAT or any other test for university admission in your country is not also required in these admissions. One important requirement is your personal statement, or we also call the essay. So you can write on why you want to study at Osaka University with around 800 words in Japanese. So if you have a clear motivation for why you want to study at Osaka University, please apply to this admission program. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, so this slide shows application requirement. And I will mention 3 specific requirements about these admissions. The one is number 3, certification of Japanese language and language N1 or N2, and it's equivalent. And if you have a certificate of JLPT N1 or N2, they are acceptable. Also, a document certified by the principal or Japanese language teachers is also acceptable. And the second one is a personal statement. And personal statement and letter of recommendations are also required in these admissions. But you can see the application guideline for the fiscal year 2023. But for now, we provide application guideline in Japanese only on the website. But please check the details at the application guideline. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, let's have a look at the application process for the fiscal year 2023. And the application period is between October 1st and October 15th. Then a selection of applicants conducted between late October this year and late February next year. So if your application passed the document screening, you have an interview with the professors of Osaka University around late January or early February 2022. The announcement is around late March, and this all process is done in your local area or using an online system. And if you've passed successfully, you would come to Japan to take a preparatory education, probably before October next year. After then, you will be a freshman at Osaka University from April 2023. Okay, so next slide, please. So as we mentioned, we have 11 undergraduate schools at Osaka University. So all of the undergraduate schools, except for School of Science, you can apply to any undergraduate school of Osaka University. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, so for more details, please check the website here. And if you are interested in this program or have any question about these admissions, please feel free to contact by us email. So shown on this slide. Okay, this is a short introduction about the global admissions. That is all for about this admission. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Tak. If you have any questions, please memo our email address, and you can also ask questions through our Q&A. And next, let's invite our Professor Alex to have give us a presentation on human science programs.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. I wish you a warm welcome, and I'll try to present you human sciences undergraduate program in a few minutes. So if you have any more questions, please, you can ask later. So what do we do? There are 3 focuses that we have. First one is diversity and inclusion studies, and this focus basically addresses issues of equality, participation, and inclusion for people who are very differently located in the society. And this focus is linked to the UNESCO Chair in Global Health and Education. The next focus is Japan studies. And in this focus, you basically study Japan from different perspectives: culture, social systems, institutions, its global influence. And then we have political and global studies where we study Japanese domestic politics, international politics, and political economy. So this program is highly multidisciplinary, and you will have professors who are from different backgrounds, so sociologists, political scientists, even with some legal background, and also classes that are in Japanese program will also be available to you. So we have a lot of students taking, for example, psychology classes in Japanese, starting from their, let's say, second or third year. So how do we study? So we have learner-centered approach. That means that well, it's really you have responsibility also about what you want to learn, how you want to organize, let's say, your time, and what do you want to give your, let's say, focus to. Also, we have small size classes, which gives more opportunity for us to have deeper discussions and to interact more, well, not only between professors and students, but also between students. So another, let's say, feature of the program is that we really offer meaningful engagement and support. So there is, we have health and counseling available, homestay and brother and sister program. Also, international exchange office support is there if you need any more information about possibilities. Another thing is diversity. So not only that our faculty members are coming from different parts of the world, but also students. We also have a student council that is very well active when it comes to making different events, organizing festivals, or even reaching out to different companies, organizing seminars, and helping younger students when they join the program. So if you would like, you can look at their Instagram page. They also have YouTube channels, so they're very active and supportive. This is something that we started doing last year. We also want to provide students with some life skills. So we do offer workshops over, let's say, usually it's over 3 months in socio-emotional intelligence. So that's proved to be very useful. Then informational literacy and negotiation. So these are all skills that you will need once also you graduate from university. So where do our students go after graduation? Usually half of our students go to the corporate sector. So usually it's consulting, finance, business. And then we have, let's say, around 1/3 of students continuing their studies at graduate schools, so including University of Tokyo, Kyoto University, LSE, Boston College, University of Oxford, and Leiden University. Next, please. Yes. So let me tell you a few words about admission procedure. So basically, we open the application period on December 1st. I mean, we will open it this year, right? On December 1st. So you need to, you can apply online. There is a system. If you go to our website, you will see the link to it. Then by January 7, basically you need to pay basically the fee. You have to pay the fee and finish the application registration. Then by January 18, your application is also received by post. And then during February, we send out applications, and then around mid-February, mid-March 2022, right? So next year we conduct interviews. So you will have interviews with our professors where you will be asked different questions about your interests, your knowledge, your motivations, etc. And then in late March, we will notify you of screening results by email. And then by May 6, you have to reply to these offers by email. Then by June 6, you need to pay enrollment fees and apply for visa. And well, during July, we expect you to complete your IB program and submission of your IB results. And then during August, completion of all A levels and submission of A level results. And then, of course, from late September to late October next year, you would be expected to move into the dorm, and then classes start from usually first or second week of October. So when it comes to financial costs, there will be, I think, more maybe words about that later, but this is our estimate based on previous students' experiences. So here you can see that, well, what is the tuition fee and living expenses estimate is 138,000 Japanese yen per month. And yearly tuition fee is 535,000 Japanese yen. Then you will definitely have accommodation cost that is 25,000 yen. And then, of course, utilities, insurance, medical insurance, meals, transportation is also calculated in these 138,000 yen. Next, please. Well, when it comes to accommodation, it's important to know that for our program, we guarantee on-campus dormitory during the first year, and IUPS is in charge of this process. You will have individual rooms that are very well equipped, and the monthly cost, as I just mentioned before, it's 25,000 yen per month. After this first year, you need to find your own apartment, and we are now elaborating ways for, let's say, senior students to help you out with that process, or different agencies to assist you with, well, apartment search. So if you have any more questions, I will be more than happy to answer during Q&A session, or if you have anything that pops into your mind after this fair, you can reach us, and here are the places where you can do it on Instagram and YouTube. You can, even if you have some practical questions regarding how is it to be a student at HUS, you can reach out to G30 Student Council on their Instagram and Instagram page. And as well, we will have an open day in September. So if you would like to know more about our program, you are more than welcome to come. Thank you very much, and I'm looking forward to your questions.
Thank you very much, Professor Lex. And next, let's invite our Professor Clement to give us a presentation on IUPS, our another program.
All right, thank you very much. So this IUPS is an international undergraduate program in science. This is basically a hybrid program. This is not entirely in English, but half in English and the other half is in Japanese. So students who are applying to this program are expected to have some Japanese language ability before they can apply. Next, please. Right, so this is a bachelor's undergraduate program in 3 fields of science: chemistry, mathematics, and or physics. So basically, students are going to be placed in one of these 3 subjects. However, in the first year, students will have to learn all the basic sciences or basic subjects in science, including biology, of course. Graduates will be ready for further studies or work in Japan because this is, as I mentioned before, a hybrid program, a bilingual education. So in the first 1.5 years, students will learn basically mainly in English, and then later in Japanese, together with the Japanese students. For entering this program, you will be assessed for the entrance exam in English, or in English and Japanese for the Department of Mathematics. So if you want to get into the mathematics department, you need to know some more Japanese than if you want to enter chemistry or physics. You need some elementary Japanese proficiency, or about level entry or higher, and we will give you, or we will provide preliminary intensive Japanese language course here at Osaka University for the first 6 months before you're enrolled in the graduate program. And this preliminary period also includes some science classes. The total duration is 4.5 years. Next, please. So looking at from the bottom of this slide, So this shows you the overview of the curriculum. And for the first 6 months, it's a preliminary course, Japanese language course, and some science, basic science classes. For the first year and the first half of the second year, you will learn liberal arts and fundamental science subjects taught mainly in English, and some further Japanese language classes. From the second half of the second year to the fourth year, you will learn major subjects taught mainly in Japanese. And starting from the fourth year, you will be engaged in a research project in a group of choice, and you will basically join a lab and work as a research student or doing your research full time in the lab there for a year. Next, please. Okay, so again, just repetition. So again, this one is important. The course this is 4-year core basic, their 4-year core basic program for this one, and the course structure is very similar to the regular program in Japanese for Japanese students. Okay, next please. This is quite an honor type program. So we have small class sizes. So in the year 2001, this is the first batch of for this program. We have 12 students, and I think we have at least 4 full-time professors that teach you, who will teach you. And this is kind of personalized in the meaning that students can really choose classes they're going to take, especially in the later half of their education, because they will be taking classes together with the Japanese. They will basically meaning that they have more options. Bilingual education, and we have career support. And based on the data so far, not from this program, from the predecessor CBCMP or chemistry biology combined major course, more than 80% of students become graduate students. And you have opportunities to be employed in Japan. Okay, like the HUS, oh sorry, next the HUS program. Can you go back one slide, please? Right, you got provincial access to the dormitory, and the cost is very moderate compared to Western countries. Next, please. Right, so these are the requirements. I'm not going to go into details. The deadlines for enrollment in October next year are not decided yet, probably around February to March next year, and final results will be in May to June 2022. So you need, other than the standard ones, you need letter of recommendations. You also need some results of standardized tests for university admission from your home country, or you can also take an EJU test or SAT a test. Next, please. You also need to write an essay. Actually, you need to write 2 essays. The first one is why you wish to study in this program, and what topic or topics in science have captured your imagination recently, and why. You need to pay for the application fee, give us the copy of your passport, some language certifications, and also not only in English, but also in Japanese. Next, please. So this is how you'll be selected. The first screening is based on the documents. The second screening is in-person assessment. This probably will happen in May next year. It can be done online or face-to-face here in Osaka, Bangkok, or in Berkeley, Groningen, and you will be assessed on your knowledge in science and English and Japanese for math. Then, if you're successful, you'll receive the news from us in May or June and next year, before coming here in October. Okay, so that's all for the IUPS. Then I will continue with how some explanation on how to study at graduate level. So basically, for you guys who are now in the university and will graduate, get a bachelor's degree shortly, and want to study master's or PhD here in Osaka University. So the common application flow: first, try to find the programs of your interest and read the admissions guide. Then this is very important. Try to find a supervisor. Supervisor means a professor or a PI, a principal investigator, the head of a lab in Osaka University. This is at least 6 to 12 months before the application deadline. Try to talk with this person and ask whether he or she can accept you as a student in the lab. So if you get positive response, Then you continue to seek advice from the department or supervisors for advice on admission, take the entrance exam, and then enroll in Osaka University. So again, the number 2 here is very important. Try to find a suitable supervisor that can accept you. Okay. We have quite many graduate programs in English. School of Science has 2. School of Engineering has how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 programs. Engineering Science has 1 program. And Information Science and Technology has also 1 program. So you can look at the website here for more information on our graduate programs. Next, please.
Okay. Thank you very much for giving us so many details on our programs.
Right now, we will briefly talk about our exchange programs. There have been many questions about exchange programs at Osaka University. We have these 4 exchange programs that you can see on the screen. And some of the Frontiers Lab, Maple, OSEP, and iExpo, they have different periods to come here to Osaka University, and it's available for students who are studying at universities that have exchange agreements with Osaka University. So, for example, if your university has an exchange agreement with one of our schools or graduate schools, you can come to that school that have exchange agreements with. You can scan this QR code at the right bottom of the screen here to see if your university has an agreement with us and which school or graduate school. And so basically 2 programs are in English and 2 are in Japanese, and some are basically more tailored for research experience, and some are for social sciences and language and culture courses.
And we also have another called Japanese Short Stay Introduction Program. It is an intensive Japanese language program for students without any Japanese language knowledge, and it has 2 sessions. Winter session is for about 4 weeks, and the application deadline is usually in September of that year. The summer session is for about 8 weeks with an application deadline in February. Please visit our website for application and other information. Here we have a QR code for this program. And here is another one about our tuition fee and financial aid.
We have, so here you can see the list of our tuition fees. As a national university, the fee is lower than private universities, and it's same for Japanese and international students. And so for undergraduate and graduates, the tuition fee is same. And when you enroll our university, you have to pay one-time enrollment fee, and then pay the tuition fees. And the Graduate School of Law has different tuition fee, and then all other schools have the same fees. And if you come here as a research student who is basically taking courses and auditing courses and preparing for admissions, the payment per month is about $263. And as for scholarships, so here, I think the biggest scholarship is Japanese government scholarship that has 2 routes. One is embassy recommended, and the other one is university recommended. So for embassies, you have to find information from the consulates or embassies in your country region. And if you're interested in university recommendation, also there are different varieties. So one place you could check is you could check with the graduate school at Osaka University if they have this route. And we also have tuition fee waiver system for students struggling with financial difficulties. And for this, you have to apply after you enroll and every semester. And then some schools, school by school, they have different scholarships. So usually if you go to their websites, they would have information if they have scholarships.
And next, we want to share some information of dormitory for you. Osaka University has its own dormitory for students. Here we have two brand new ones for you. International students usually live in the dorm in the first year, and then we have office on campus that help with finding other apartment. There are numbers of dormitory near our campuses. And here you can see the first one, the brand new one is Osaka University Global Village, Mino Senba. It's near our foreign studies school. And here you can see the room of it is a private room with with furniture, with Wi-Fi, and with mini kitchen, bed, and other things that you might need. And another one is Osaka University Global Village, Tsukumodai. It's also in a very nearby our campus, very convenient place with shopping mall, and also with very beautiful sharing spaces and a little library on the first floor. Here is a little bit different from the formal one. It's you have your own private room. Has some like a bed and bookshelves and closet, but you also have a sharing space, as you can see on the slide. In the sharing space, you have kitchen, you have laundry room, and restroom and shower room. Here, I want to show some pictures, photos of our new dormitory. These photos are taken by us, and it's showing the reality of our dorms of Tsukumodai. Here it is what it looks in outside, and here is the library on the first floor, and then also two televisions. And here is the sharing space, living room, and you can see have a lot of furniture and useful things here, and long table. And here is a laundry, and beside laundry we have restrooms here and also chair rooms. And from here you can go to your private rooms.
We have student support centers, one on each campus, and they provide useful information for international students in terms of adjusting to Japan and making friends, etc. And also, you can, if you visit their website, they have handbooks, different handbooks about visa, from all the way from visas to child here if you are coming here as a family. And so you could check their handbooks also. And we also have a career center that provides some trainings for international students to find jobs. So they will talk about the nature of job hunting in Japan and how you should prepare. And they also organize fairs, participate in fairs, etc.
And here we want to invite Professor Koeman to give us an introduction on our international student careers.
Thank you very much. So as you can see here, many of our alumni have found employment with large companies in Japan, but you can also see some differences in the trend of what students do after they get their undergraduate degree here. So quite a large portion of our students actually continue their study as a master's students, either in Osaka University or another university. And this is quite common in Japanese universities, because basically masters is just a 2-year period of study, and this is very not a difficult investment. And graduates with master degrees normally have a higher, much higher studying salary compared to those with only bachelor's degree. For master graduates, about 42% in the arts get employed, so they work for the company, and about only 36% of science and engineering master graduates actually go work in companies, and quite a larger portion of them from the masters from the science engineering major actually continue their study as PhD students. Okay, next please.
Okay, if you want to find more information on our university, you can go to our homepage, have an English homepage for international students. And also, you can find us on some social medias like YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and also Weibo. Welcome to follow us. Yeah. We have a lot of very interesting news and also pictures on our social media.
And some of you have been asking it whether, this recording will be shared later, etc. We have recordings on our YouTube channel from past webinar, and also I think we believe we will upload this one too later. So you can find us at Osaka University official channel on YouTube, and if you can access YouTube. If not, Weibo and WeChat.
Yeah, right. Please follow us. And if you have some further questions, please contact us at this email address.